Four things on earth are small, yet they are extremely wise. Ants are creatures of little strength, yet they store up their food in the summer. This whole list is going to be God uses small. The ants is the first one. Ants have this superhuman strength. Like right now, think about what you weigh. Just a fun little church exercise. Just think about how much you weigh, all right? Got that number in your head? You're like, mine's 200 and something. Should be less. Now, try and push that amount over your head. Just imagine trying to lift that up. An ant can do 10 times its weight. Most ants can do 50 times their own weight. So calculate that number up here and how much an ant is lifting up. The Asian weaver ant, little study here, can do 100 times its weight. And so the Arizona State University studied this, like how is this possible? It's the tiniest thing. And they came up to this conclusion. The amazing strength of an ant is because of their small size. The thing that you think is the weakness is why they actually have strength. And God continues to do this with us, continues to hit us over the head with these same points over and over going, do you understand what I can do with you? You think you're small, but there's so much more. The ant, like every day I walk out of my house and there's like a line of ants dancing in front of me and I put down the gel they just gave me. I had these little packets I had down. And every day I'm like, man, you guys are just here to mock me. But what it is I think God continuing to show me, I'm going to use it as a plus when it really should be a negative, but I'm going to use it as a plus. Every day, God going, do you see the power of the small? Your faith, if you continue to keep your faith in me, there's nothing that's impossible for you. And he does it over and over. The hyraxes are next. They're creatures of little power, yet they make their home in the crags. These things are over in Africa and Arabia, so we're not real familiar with them. But the real sermon that most say here is they hide among the rocks. And so if we hide amongst God, then he's going to protect us. That's a good sermon, but I don't like it as much. I've studied a little bit about it, and something I notice is they constantly are moving their jaws, and they're constantly sharpening their teeth. So even though they're in the rock and they're protecting themselves as we should be in God, they still constantly are working, constantly sharpening their teeth, and they're ready for that next meal when they can pounce and move forward. And that's what we need to be doing. The reason these things are surviving is because they continue to be ready for what God has next. Locusts have no king, yet they advance together in ranks. Now, locusts by itself, pretty harmless, no big deal. You could play with it, let it bounce around you, whatever. It'd be a little weird, but if that's what you want to do, you can, because it's really quite harmless until it starts getting together with others. And then it starts to get bigger and bigger. They start to eat more than they even need. They start to change color to become all one color. It's like a plague that starts to swarm and devastate everything in its path. It's crazy. In 1989, there was a swarm in Africa, crossed over 60 countries, did $4.5 billion in crop damage. A small, little thing, quite harmless by itself, when it connects with others, becomes unstoppable. Kind of sounds like the church to me. You know, by ourselves, we may be small, but when we come together and we unite and we start to do the things of God, it is unstoppable. And history has shown over and over the church wins. The church continues to unite and move forward and do things that are unbelievable, absolutely changing the world. It's incredible. The lizard. A lizard can be caught with the hand, yet it's found in king's palaces. My kids play with lizards. Like they can catch lizards and mess around with lizards. And yet, something we can catch in our own hands can end up in king's palaces. They can get anywhere, anytime. You ever been in a hotel room randomly on like the 20th floor and you see a lizard on the wall? This is other countries, not really ours, but in other countries, I have done this and I'm like, did he go up the elevator? Like, how did he get up here? This is amazing. So a lizard, they can lose their tail, they eat insects, they can swim, they can change color, they can run on water, some of them, they adapt to any environment. Some species live on 3 meals a year. They're the most adaptable thing. They're on every single continent. So what is he telling us? Again, he's saying maybe small, maybe harmless. You can play with it, and yet it's the most adaptable thing out there, and so are you. If you have your faith in me, no matter what your situation is, whatever you've had to face, the challenges, the tragedies, all of it, if you have your faith in me, I will adjust and adapt you and make you more effective than you possibly could imagine. That's what God tells us over and over with nature. Ants, hyraxes, locusts, lizards. God can use the small if they have faith in him.